Nowhere. That's somewhere too. Like what? What do you mean nowhere is somewhere too? Yeah, nowhere is somewhere too. Why you think they call it in the middle of nowhere? They don't just say you're nowhere. They're like, man, I'm in the when you're lost, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not. You ever hear anybody say I'm in the beginning of nowhere or I'm arriving at the midpoint within somewhere? No, you don't hear that. Yet it's still true. Nowhere, that's somewhere too. I think what we confuse it with though is being all over the place. Now, being all over the place is not the same thing as nowhere. I would rather be led nowhere than all over the place. All over the place, you think you're going somewhere, but at least nowhere, yeah, nowhere is a real space. They call it shunya. This is the black diamond state before, as you reach the 11th level. This is where everything becomes pre-manifestational. You will call this nowhere. It's the beginning of everywhere, but you would call it nowhere. But it's somewhere because even nowhere is somewhere too. A person on the outside will call it nowhere because they can't see it. A person on the outside will call your dreams and your kingdoms nowhere because they can't see it. Heaven is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you, right? You've heard it said, but they can't see it. But just because they can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. There's a movie called The Shadow that exemplifies this point. Not everybody could see a building that was right in front of them. For everybody, for everybody else, it was a vacant lot. But for another group of people in the storyline, it was a skyscraper with like 50 floors on it, penthouse level and everything available. There's even nowhere. What we call nowhere, that's somewhere too. My everywhere might be nowhere to you because you can't see it, but it's still there. You bring it to the surface. All of this happens from a place called Shunya or Sunya. You could pronounce it both ways. This is prima material, right? What is it? Prima morta. Starting at the very, very, very apex. If you really want to get something done, try to see if you can hold that frame of mind where everything is just either black or gray or pre-manifestational. And all of that blackness is just vibrating with super intense energy. The darkest you can think of. But don't make it all spiritual and hocus pocus like that, where it's like, oh, this darkness is an entity. No, it's not an entity. It's energy. You know what I mean? We're talking about like going to the original construct of a program.